phenomenal first game of the season.
Woo! Hello and welcome to On Tap Sports, the channel where we cover all the sports all the time and we do reactions here. Let's get right into Dallas at Tampa Bay. Tampa came into this as a 9-point favorite. Over-under was 52 points, and that was reached by a long shot. Total of 60 points in this game, a lot of those in the first half. Dallas came into this game historically and statistically bad defense in 2020. They looked to shore that up, and Tom Brady's not necessarily the guy you want to see when you are trying to shore that up, but we'll see how they perform today. DAK, of course, hadn't played in 11 months. We'll see how he performed as well. First off, they start off with a 3-and-out on defense, does Dallas, and they get the ball. They drive it right down the field. Some very nice plays. Long pass to Amari Cooper down the sideline. But Dallas shoots itself in the foot a little bit. CeeDee Lamb drops a pass that was right in his hands. They get a false start a little while later, and the drive stalls. Tom Brady, the 44-year-old vet from the University of Michigan, goes on a methodical drive down the field. 7 passes, 2 runs on that. Very pass-heavy, obviously. 94 yards down the field, ends in a Brady to Godwin touchdown. Godwin with a very good day for Tampa Bay. 7-0 Bucs. Brady on the day, 32 for 50, 379 yards, 4 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Tom Brady doing very Tom Brady things. Don't have a lot of thoughts on that. You know, he did what Tom does. He took what the defense gave him throughout the game. He nailed the long ball plenty of times today, and he really utilized some of his better weapons in Antonio Brown, Chris Godwin, and Gronk. Antonio Brown, 5 catches for 121 yards and a touchdown today. Godwin, 9 for 105 and a touchdown. And Big Gronk with 8 catches, 90 yards, and found pay dirt twice. His counterpart was Dak Prescott, of course, and Prescott threw the ball 58 times. Now, if you're a Dallas fan, and before you start getting onto them for not running the ball a lot, I think it's okay, because Dak was that good. He had 403 yards. He was pretty efficient, only had 16 incompletions, 3 touchdowns, and 1 interception. So really, I mean, Tampa Bay's good against the run, and they were taking it from Dallas, so might as well go through the air where they were very effective. A lot of that because of some injuries for Tampa, or really one main injury for Tampa in the secondary, where Dallas took full advantage of that, clearly. Thoughts on Dak today? He played excellent, especially considering the injury he had last season. He looked very, very good. I've been kind of hard on Dak throughout his career. He looked very good today, very confident in the pocket. His O-line was phenomenal. Tampa Bay's O-line was phenomenal. The only time Dak ever had any kind of pressure on him was at parts in the second half, late in the second half, and then late in the first half at the very end when Shaq Barrett was all over him on that last drive of theirs. Dak answers right back on a 75-yard drive. Beautiful touch pass to CeeDee Lamb on the sideline, and he gets inside the pylon, makes it a touchdown. 7-7 is your score at that point. Then the teams trade punts, and Tampa Bay gets the ball back. 6 plays, 50 yards, touchdown to Gronk. 14-7 Tampa Bay in the first half. Cowboys go down the field, can't pick up 3rd down and 3 on the Tampa Bay 13, and this is a huge part of this game today. Cowboys having to settle for field goals, where Tampa Bay, the only field goal they had, of course, was the game winner when they had to do that. Zuerlein misses a chip shot, 31-yard field goal, and it turned out to be very, very critical in this scenario. Would have made Tampa Bay have to have a touchdown at the end of the game. Instead, they only needed that field goal, and Ryan Suckup converts it, but we'll get to that later. Ronald Jones later for Tampa Bay fumbles on the next play, and it's Dallas ball all over again. Prescott to Cooper, touchdown after a low snap. Great play by Prescott, picks it up, calmly gets out of the pocket and throws it to Cooper. Touchdown there, but guess what? Zuerlein missed the extra point. So Zuerlein very, very off today for the veteran. Very next play for Tampa Bay, another turnover. This time a good screen pass call by the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Dallas was all out blitzing, and Leonard Fournette would have had a lot of field in front of him. Instead, a little high, kind of, but Fournette clearly should have come down with the pass. Instead, he tips it. Tip drill goes right to Trayvon Diggs, and Trayvon Diggs does what you're supposed to do as a defender, and he catches the ball. And I know that sounds very small and insignificant for a professional athlete, but obviously you'd be surprised how many times somebody drops that on the tip drill. So good job catching it there. Zuerlein then nails the 35-yard field goal, 16-14. But again, note, Dallas settling for another field goal, not the touchdown. A big deal, and Chris Collinsworth mentioned it plenty in this game. I agree completely. So you're asking at that point, can Dallas go to the locker with the lead up 16-14 at the time? The answer is no. Bucs strike back really quickly. Big kickoff return for them. And then Antonio Brown absolutely burns Anthony Brown. Great veteran play by Tom Brady to go over the top. No safety help because he looked him off of it. 47-yard bomb, 21-16, Tampa Bay at the half. Here's what I had to say at the half, what I noticed and took away. At that point, Dallas took full advantage of the first quarter. Sean Murphy bunting injury. DAK was awesome in the first half, 23 of 32, 224 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 0 interceptions. And they went after Jamel Dean one-on-one. I thought Dean held his own for a lot of it. I mean, they got some completions on him, but nothing too crazy. But yeah, they definitely attacked after him, and just this Tampa Bay secondary that was a little bit depleted as a whole. Brady in the first half, 13 of 21, 213 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, yes, but neither of them were his fault. One was the Leonard Fournette drop pass on the screen. The other was the Hail Mary before the half that had no significance whatsoever. So both quarterbacks were on fire today in the first half, and they proceeded to be on fire in the second. I felt like the pass protection, as I mentioned earlier, for Dallas and for Tampa Bay was phenomenal in the first half. Outside of that, Shaq Barrett, sack, and hurry. Both teams needed to figure out the running game, I felt like at that point, but it turns out they were just fine sticking with the passing game in the second half. I wrote that down at halftime, but neither really did figure out the run, and it wasn't necessary. Both offenses ran fine without it. Sometimes that's just the way it goes. Sometimes you run heavy because it's working. Sometimes you're pass heavy because it's working. Dallas only had 7 rushes for 20 yards, 2.9 yards per carry at the half. Tampa Bay had 9 for 32. 3.6 yards per carry. There were 37 points in the first half in a 52 over-under, and that's with Zuerlein's missed extra point and field goal, which would have given him 4 more points in that. To the second half we go. Dallas for first possession, and this was a story for them in the third quarter. It's why they were able to stay in this game as long as they did as a 9-point underdog. They make it 21-19 on a Zuerlein 21-yard field goal, but again, 6 minutes almost they had the ball on that possession. So time of possession in the third quarter was huge for Dallas. Didn't allow Tampa Bay's prolific offense to have the ball much in that quarter, and so they were able to hang around. Again, though, Dallas settling for field goals when Tampa was making the most of their opportunities and scoring touchdowns. It seems like such a simplistic, easy, cliche thing to say, but it's the truth, so it has to be said. Later on in the third, CeeDee Lamb drops another pass. Had a great day, but had some drops there that were pretty costly throughout this game. As Chris Collinsworth said, it would have been a good catch if he had caught it, but not necessarily a great one, and he should have come down with it. I agree. As a receiver and cornerback myself in high school, not at this level, obviously, I feel like you need to come down with that ball and be more sure-handed than that. Instead, interception for Tampa Bay, and Brady and Gronk make them pay. They go up 28-19, and you're wondering at that point, can they finish off this game here? Because now all of a sudden they have their biggest lead of the game, 9 points. The Bucs could run away at that point, but no. Dallas shows great fight in them. Again, though, let me mention Tampa Bay, touchdown there, not a field goal. Dallas on a 5.5-minute drive on the next drive, 10 plays, 75 yards, ball control again, and they score the touchdown this time, making it 28-26 in this game, and Tampa had the ball for just 3 minutes and 12 seconds in the third quarter. So almost 12 minutes of possession if you are the Dallas Cowboys. That is what you need to do to stay in this game. You go into the fourth down 28-26. Fourth quarter, after a Dallas punt, Tampa goes on a long drive of their own, 6 minutes and 2 seconds, 10 plays, 61-yard drive, and Chris Godwin gets the 4th turnover of the game for the Bucs, or gives up the 4th turnover of the game as he fights to get into the end zone, fumbles it, gives Dallas new life. A Tampa touchdown touchdown there probably would have ended it. I don't think Dallas could have come back from there. Dallas on that last possession, how resilient, how wonderful was Dak Prescott on 3rd and 11 for Dallas on their own 35. He connects with CeeDee Lamb for a 31-yard gain to get to the Tampa Bay 34. This after a penalty, a holding penalty on Tyron Smith on 2nd and 20. Dallas was very good at not getting penalties in this game except for on that drive. They were really beating Tampa. I think Tampa, when I looked at it, it was like 10 penalties for 101 yards. I was marking that down as if Tampa was to lose. That was something I was definitely going to mention. Dallas at the time had like 5, so I think they ended up with 7 or 8, somewhere around that area. But yeah, they were, staying away from having penalties up until that drive. But that one put them in a 2nd and 20, then a 3rd and 11. It didn't matter. Dak Prescott was clutch. Then on 3rd and 6 with 1:43 remaining, another holding penalty for the Cowboys. This time they can't convert on 3rd down. It makes it 3rd and 16. They get 10 yards on the play, but it doesn't matter. Zuerlein connects on the 47-yarder, so he was sure this time around after some bad misses earlier in this game. But everybody knows it. You're looking at Tom Brady on the other sideline and you're like, that man's getting the ball back and he's probably going to win this game. And he knows how to do what Tom Brady does, which is ice the clock down and get that last shot at it. He's a veteran and a very good one at that. So yeah, Tom Brady gets the ball back, drives them down the field, and they get the game winner to make it 31-29 ball game. Tampa Bay gets the win. Amari Cooper in 2020 had a very good year, 92 receptions, 1,114 yards, and 5 touchdowns. I think it's safe to say he's found a home here at Dallas. Today, he had 13 receptions for 139 yards and 2 touchdowns. CeeDee Lamb, 7 receptions for 104 yards and a touchdown. He was very good. There's a lot of good things to take home if you're Dallas in this situation. I think they only had 1 turnover today, so they took care of the ball. They didn't really get penalized a lot except for on that last drive. Maybe clean that up a little bit. Defense didn't play too poorly. I mean, you gave up a lot of yardage to Tom Brady, but it's Tom Brady and he has a lot of weapons too. I feel like Dallas played very well. They should not hold their heads low at this game by any means. They got an easy schedule. Chris Collinsworth said it. Man, I've said his name a lot in this video, but yeah, he said it. They don't play another playoff team from last year until week 11 from here on out. So a very good opportunity for Dallas to build off of what they had tonight. Would have been great if they could have got the W, but in the grand scheme of things, they played well and they have a lot to look forward to. They have a very talented team on paper. I know a lot of people get ahead of themselves when they're talking about the Cowboys, especially the Cowboys fans, but they have a talented team. They can get it done, and you saw a lot of good signs today, to say the least. The bad on them, and Prescott looked great. Prescott looked great, and you're only going to expect more out of Ezekiel Elliott in the future when they do run the ball more against a much easier team to run the ball against. The only bad I want to say about Dallas, really the reasons why they lost this game, obviously Zuerlein needs to make that field goal, 31-yarder. He's a vet. He's got to hit that, and he definitely has to hit the extra point, but that wouldn't have cost them necessarily. And they kicked too many field goals. That wasn't good, obviously. You got to convert. Maybe one more touchdown would have done it, more than likely. I don't know. Brady probably would have scored a touchdown on his own and still won the game, but either way, you make it much harder on Tom Brady in that situation. And number 3, while they lost, they were playing Tom Brady, and guess what? You don't got to play Tom Brady every single week if you're the Dallas Cowboys. That was the reaction for this game. A very good game. Probably couldn't get much better unless you're a Dallas fan than that in the very first game of the NFL season, and man, it's exciting. It's exciting because last year, even though the NFL, we still played and everything else, everything just felt so weird last year. It's great to get back into it, real football, and it just feels like it's back now here in 2021. Thank you for watching this. Please do consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. We do reaction videos like this, comedy videos, all kinds of stuff. Hope to see you around. Take care. God bless. Have a great night.